Hey, everybody. Welcome here to Pop Culture Philosophers. Welcome to PCP Movie Night. Welcome to our movie review of 1981's Knightriders, written and directed by George A. Romero, who is mostly known for his horror films, in particular, his zombie, Living Dead films. But he's got this movie called Knightriders. It's one of my favorite. Happy Robbie week. We are kicking it off. My birthday is Sunday. We got a bunch of events this week to celebrate, I guess, me for some reason. Why? Because I decided to do so. But we are also kicking off Crew's Choice, and it is my pick tonight for my birthday, which is Knightriders from George A. Romero. This is Ed Harris's first starring role, I believe. Tom Savini's in it. Tons of great people. Speaking of tons of great people, I got tons of great people here to kick off Robbie Week with a Knightriders look in retrospective, including Jelani. What's up, homie?
Station. May the fourth be with you as well.
Yes. Exactly. You know, somebody was like, "Hey, you're not doing a Star Wars movie today?" And I'm like, "Bruh, nothing interests me less than talking about Star Wars these days." You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I'm just wearing a shirt because I had one.
Nice. Very cool. But yeah, happy May the 4th to you as well. We also got Joe Corallo in the house. What's up, homie?
It's true. And the real Star Wars Day is May 25th when the movie actually came out. This May the 4th be with you bullshit. Fuck that.
All right. Nicely put. What about you, Fable? How are you feeling? What do you think about May the 4th versus May the 25th?
Station. I forgot it was May the 4th. Maybe that says it all.
Only reason I did was the internet. I was like, the internet's saying it. And I was like,
for Mandalorian and Grogu.
I don't know, man. I am for that new Burger King meal, man. They got some neat looking stuff at Burger King, man.
I didn't open up Instagram today, so I'm pretty sure I would have found out if I did that.
All right, yeah, there you go.
I was wearing this ironically, by the way.
But now it's ironic. I see. All right. Also, speaking of irony, we got our man, Sir Steph of House Link. What's up, homie?
Woo!
Good day, gentlemen. Am I coming in laggy? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine, yeah.
Okay, all right, that's good. All right, but yeah, Star Wars movies might fail, but that advertising never does. The marketing, should I say, like the tie-in marketing, that shit is always good. But yeah, they could have done with a better title. Yeah, the titling, bro. It's the titling.
It's the best.
Well, everybody better get a good night's sleep for Revenge of the 5th tomorrow.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, that's the one that's even more annoying. You right? All right. Speaking of annoying, it's Brooks is here to wrap up the panel. How you doing, Brooks? Who was not annoying at all. Nice to see you. First time watch for everybody there at the bar. In fact, first time watch for everybody here except for me and Joe, right? I'm pretty sure. All right. Well, I cannot wait to get into this. So I was also born in 1981. So it's also appropriate that I picked this movie because it was released in 1981. Like I said, Ed Harris is in the movie, Tom Savini, tons of other people will be getting into it. This movie did not do well at all. Okay. And not even a lot of Romero fans have seen it. Right. I first watched it because you remember that big book you had to get back in the early days of the internet or pre-internet where it would they'd update it every year. And it was like every movie that had been released or most movies, who directed it, who starred in it. It was like a concordance of film. And you could look up directors and it would show you all their movies. And it was cool. It's like an index of film. We used to always have one of those at the video store, Jelani, back in the day when we worked at Hollywood Video. And so I looked through George A. Romero, found every movie there. And then the golden days of Netflix DVD through the mail. That was when I got into all the Argento stuff and Fulci stuff that I couldn't necessarily find at my local video stores, right? But this is when I started watching more of Romero's catalog. First watched movies like Martin, There's Always Vanilla, Season of the Witch, The Crazies, and then Knightriders. And Knightriders was always, to me, incredibly poignant in my early 20s when I watched it. I felt like it's a movie that's making a bold... We'll get to the themes, but it's making a statement about rebellion and honor and kind of being a maverick, but also having a sense of a code that you stick by that may not always be in your best interest. I don't know. There was something about me in my early 20s really resonated with this film. And I used to always say, yo, my favorite Romero film's not even anything of the dead. It's like Knightriders. I love this movie, but it's not something I watched as much as I've watched some of his other catalog. In fact, now I might say my favorite Romero movie is Martin. The more and more I have really gotten into and discussed with y'all and appreciated Martin over the years. Knightriders, though, it's long and it's it's a little inaccessible, almost purposefully, right? Yeah. And it's a long movie that is, if you're not familiar, it is about basically this traveling Renaissance fair. They put on jousts, but they actually live like they have a king and there are knights and all this stuff, and they wear the armor. It's like medieval times, but it's a motorcycle movie at the same time. And there's no movie like this. Like, I don't think it's hard for me to think of a movie. It's very much like this, but I love the movie. I think it could have worked better with some better marketing at the time. I think it could have worked better with maybe 30 minutes cut out of the movie, right? Like, for real. But I think the performances are all there and very earnest. I think this is the most personal of George A. Romero's films, from what I can gather with what it's saying. I also think that the music by Donald Rubinstein is really good for what it's trying to do, and the stunts and the way that George has always been good. He's like a blue collar director. I feel the same way about someone like John Carpenter. There is style there. Their style, though, is being competent, right? And being like workmen, like directors that like aren't trying to be focused so much on flash, but on the actual technical way to build a movie. And I think some of the stunts and the way it's put together and cut is really powerful in this movie. It just drags on. There's rumors that like the original cut of this movie was nearing like 10 hours plus or something. And there was a lot that Romero wanted to put in this movie, but that's always something he struggled with. Anyway, I love this film. Definitely wanted to bring it to more people's attention. So happy to be discussing this. Jelani, first time watch, Knightriders. What'd you think?
Woo! Knightriders. At first, I was excited because I was like, ooh, it's guys on motorcycles driving around and like killing like Mad Max style, fighting for gas or fighting for like power. That's what I thought this was, because I had no clue. I walked in this totally, especially the box that you gave me had like medieval guys. It wasn't even the people that were in the movie, which is weird because I saw it and it was like these guys wearing black armor and they're doing this thing, but it wasn't the same guys in the movie, so it threw me off. And so when I finally watched it, it's like the early 80s, 70s roving group of LARPers, and they're having their ups and downs, their vicissitudes, if you will. And it's okay, but it's the length that kills it for me. It's too long for what it is. I think they need to cut an hour of that.
Bro, I always forget how long it is, Jelani, until I put it in. I'm like, oh man,
Thursday, it's really long, and
Yo,
like,
no, I was gonna say to your point, there was about like an hour into the movie. I'm not that it was crazy long, but to bring to your point, it was, and I was like, yo, where else can they take this in the next hour? Because there's like an hour and 20 minutes left, and I was like, where else are they gonna go with this? You know, it's kind of wild.
You can wrap it up, yeah. It's a wrap it up, man. I was playing the music the whole time. I was like, you need to wrap this up. This needs to be finished. There are a lot of good points in it. There are a lot of good things, but at the same time, like, bruh, you cut this down and you tell a cleaner story. This is like 4 different. This is a week's worth of soap opera. Actually, to be honest, it's 2 weeks worth of soap opera. If you
Bro,
really
we got to get the Argento cut going on Knightriders. That's what we need, right?
Yeah, it's
some goblin music.
The European cut's like 102 minutes, right?
Of Knightriders?
Yeah.
Really? It ain't on this disc. Shit.
It ain't there. But it's I mean, all in all, it's a decent film. It's a competent film. its concepts make a lot of sense, but you could have cut some of that shit down, bro. Like it could have. There's a lot that it could be done in a shorter amount of time to get your point across. Like there are whole sections of this movie. Like, and I want to go this real quick. The Julia character, which by the way, great tits, but at the same time, like Julia, you could have cut her out the movie. Like, period. She has no section in this movie. She doesn't bring anything new. She's not there to be anybody there. She's
there to let everybody know, man, that this life isn't going to be for everybody. She was always an outsider in a group of outsiders.
That's fine. That's great. We don't need that. You just cut her out. You cut her whole storyline out. That's 20 minutes. You cut 20 minutes out right there. There's so many side characters that I'm supposed to know. And then there's a side character in there that I'm like, he gives a profound speech, but then you don't see his ass no more in the movie. And I'm like, what the hell? Why the hell are we doing this? You know what I'm saying? Certain people, five of those people could have been smashed into like two other people, at least 5 to 1 to 2, and made more story for what was going on. I understand where he's coming from. It's just you had too much on your brain. It's like Robbie, I'm gonna bring you back. It's like Undesired Echoes. I think you had too many people in that. I think there were too many people in that story. and you could have cut that down like 4 people or 3 people at least.
Well, that whole thing got turned into a vampire story anyway.
Yes,
I think it's stronger. So
that it did.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, it's sometimes you got to kill your darlings. Sometimes you got to trim the fat. And this is a movie that proves that. This is one of those films, and I think you should watch it. It's just cut that down, bruh. Like 20 minutes in, I'm like, you probably need to wrap this up anyway. But I saw where it was going, and I was like, this is gonna be too long.
All right, well put. Appreciate that, Jelani. I also appreciate the 27 years too late critique of my second movie script I ever tried to write.
You're welcome.
So thank you.
I like to bring it back. I am now past bringing up motherfucker.
Just to tell you how bad it was, guys, it was called Undesired Echoes. That just sounds stupid as fuck, doesn't it? Anyway, Joe, what
Wasn't
about
that
you?
an Image book.
I was Chloe and Undesired Echo.
What'd you say?
I was Chloe and Undesired Echo.
Well, no, that
That's
became
what
the
cut it down
vampire
to.
story, which is named Chloe.
Mm.
And then I was going to call it Chloe and Undesired Echo because there was some movie or another book called Chloe out. There's a few projects called Chloe. Whatever. It's not done yet. It's still cooking.
You're still
30
working.
years later. Yeah, we're working on it. Joe, what do you think about Knightriders?
This movie has all of the pros and cons of a deeply personal project. It might be the best acted, best looking, best directed movie that Romero has ever done. There are shots in this movie of just people talking that feel like art, that there's like not like anyone else like would have like shot it flat or something, but there's like scenes that are like standardly would just be like over the shoulder, you go back and forth, but you're watching it and you're like, how does like 3 people standing on a screen talking look that good? The problem with the movie is it is way too fucking long for what it is.
Yep.
I love long movies. I've seen a lot of movies that are long. I've forced people on this panel to watch really long movies with subtitles. I love long movies. But there has to be a reason it's so long. There is absolutely no fucking reason this movie is 2.5 hours. 0. None. At all. Like, you could cut 20 minutes from this movie without even, like, thinking. Like, you could just be like, oh, like, plug this, like, it's a level of just like he's too close to it. It's too personal. Like I saw, people that were saying that the original cut was 17 hours long.
Jesus Christ!
Like that, he just can't get enough of himself. He can't get out of his own way. We talked a bit about this when we talked about Dawn of the Dead. We focused on the Romero cut, not the Romero cut, the Argento cut, but there was the extended cut, and I've seen that too. And it's a beautiful showcase. Like the extended cut of Dawn of the Dead is a beautiful showcase of the characters. This movie is a beautiful showcase of the characters.
Yeah.
I think it works a little better in the extended version of Dawn of the Dead because the narrative's tighter in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
This movie feels like there's a level of pretension here that we don't get in other Romero movies. There's a level of like, oh, I'm sorry, we're doing a movie. Could you go back over there? We're doing a movie. And it takes a while before you even feel comfortable watching the movie because you're like, are they going to tell me what the fuck's going on at some point? Are they going to cue me in on what's happening? And they do. You eventually get there, but it's just like it takes like 40 fucking minutes before you're like, oh, okay.
Now,
I guess
Joe, though,
this
on a repeated viewing, though, it's easier than to get into the movie, right? I think the first act's really good once you know what the movie is, right?
No, for sure. But in terms of like recommending this to other people,
oh, exactly, yeah,
it's really difficult. Like it's not a very welcoming movie. And I understand that's not what like Romero knows what he's doing. That clearly was not something he was interested in with this movie. Maybe it's something you should be interested in when you release a movie in theaters. But it really, like I think it just felt like it is a rewarding watch. You will watch the best Romero can be if you can get through this movie. But he puts a lot of obstacles in front of you to get there, which maybe ends up making it more rewarding as a result. It's complicated, but just circling back around, it has all of the pros and all of the cons of a deeply personal project.
No, that makes a lot of sense, man. Those are really great thoughts. What about you, Fable? I'm very curious. First time watch, you probably had no clue what the hell this movie was either. So I'm very curious what you thought.
Oh, well, at first I was like, what a strange and quirky movie this is. This is really different. I wasn't expecting it at all. I thought we were going to get some post-apocalyptic Mad Max, medieval knights on bikes, gang shit. I don't know. That's just what the poster read to me, and the name and everything.
Yeah. And
the director, obviously, right? Like this is what you expect from him. But instead, we get this character drama about this group of LARPers, and I agree that I think it's too long because they basically go through their whole entire fucking show in the first hour of the movie. Like they go through the whole. It's like you're watching their show, right? Like
it is like stunt bike stuff.
Yeah. But I did end up liking it. I did end up digging it a little bit, only because it's so different. I don't think I've ever seen a movie where it's like trying to like, I don't know, do King Arthur, taking inspiration from many of the stories, because King Arthur stories, right? It's like a lot of different shit, right? Like it's like a lot of different Arthurs, a lot of different people takes on King Arthur, whatever, right? Like that's how that goes. I'm not the biggest,
absolutely, yeah.
I'm not the biggest, I don't know a lot about it, but I know that it's a lot of different shit, and I think it takes a lot of inspiration from all the stories, tries to incorporate something, an homage to something, right? Like Sir Lancelot is clearly homeboy.
The blonde haired dude.
Yeah. And Guinevere,
Yeah.
right? Like he has an affair
Right.
with her, whatever. That's in here, right? A little bit.
Morgan is kind of like the Mordred character in a way.
Yeah, Morgan Le Fay's Mordred, right?
I love that bit too when she's like,
Morgan.
he's just mad because he didn't know Morgan Le Fay was a woman.
So yeah, I like its originality. I do, but I put it like this. I'm not totally into bikes, right? Motocross and shit like that. I'm not really into medieval knights and shit like that. But somehow I was watching this thing and I wasn't too terribly bored by it. But it is a lot longer. And Jelani's right. There's a lot of good characters that I think are great characters, but also take away from the film. Because one of my major gripes besides its length is that I don't give a shit about King Billy. They don't give me enough of a reason to care about what King Billy, who he is, right? Like what he's going through. That when he dies at the end, it's like, okay, what the fuck? Like, you know what I mean? I get more from the side characters than I do with King Billy. This movie should have been really about King Billy, Morgan Le Fay, and their struggle, right? Like King Billy is an artist. He clearly is trying to like have this art.
He has integrity.
Yeah. And Morgan is this guy, like he's the sellout, the cash-in guy, trying to commercialize the business. And that's really what should have been focused on. Like Martin Scorsese would have did that, right? Like you can see you could have
streamlined that perfectly.
Yeah.
And even at the end fight or whatever they were doing, they could have streamlined, they could have all built up to that.
Right.
And it really didn't. Because it was just like something that happened in the soap opera that we did for the second week.
But like Joe said, I like the characters enough that it is cool, right? Like I like how they treat the homosexual character. They don't make him, a caricature or stereotype kind of thing as you would expect in 1981. They treat him like a regular person and they take the topic seriously. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of cool characters.
Even just kind of discussing that sense of like they're just that campfire discussion about like sexual identity. Like you don't see that in movies back then, especially not done quite this way. You know what I'm saying?
So I like a lot of I like the characters, but it's also a detriment to the film. It's almost what like Jelani said, it's like a soap opera, almost like a couple episodes of something, and it's like, but like for an audience, like Joe said, it probably won't work. But it's also something that I think is worth watching. So I don't know. I'm mixed on this one. I'm glad I watched it, but I could understand all the complaints as well.
Yeah. I like that. Now like Joe saying that this is not a welcoming film. I don't think King William is a welcoming character, and he's definitely not to his kingdom and his people. At one point you can tell that he was, but like I feel like we're already starting in the point of he's kind of being isolating and alienating himself.
They don't give you enough of when he was the cool guy to care about him. And you end up actually liking Morgan more, even though he's a fucking cheating bastard and a sellout. It's like,
I view it more like an ensemble piece, really. But there is a way they could have made it tighter, I think, even with the same characters and the same stories. Like Royal Tenenbaums has a ton of characters. It gets in there and does the job.
But you get the job done.
Goodfellas does a ton of characters.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why I mentioned Scorsese. He could have took something like this and really made it.
But maybe one of the biggest differences between Martin Scorsese and George Romero, especially at this time in their careers, is one of the reasons why it's different.
But it's cool that it is different. Like, right? Like, it's cool that George Romero tried to do something else, and I applaud him for that.
Dude, Can you just imagine trying to get fucking somebody give you like $3 million to make this fucking thing? You know, like, what the hell? I think it was just part of a picture. I think he had a 3-picture deal. I can't remember the distribution company or the production studio or whatever, but I think he had like a 3-picture deal that gave him a lot of control. I think during this time,
that explains a lot.
But this did
that
not.
was the end of that.
Yep, exactly. He then shortly after this is when he started doing more Hollywood stuff. Had his major success right after this with Creepshow, like a big success there. What about you, Steph? What do you think about Knightriders? Were you disappointed there was no David Hasselhoff?
Damn, we never made that joke. Damn it.
Just a little bit.
No lie,
just a
real
little
quick
bit,
though, Steph. No lie. George Romero says on the commentary that the producer, one of the executives behind this, got paid handsomely for the Knightriders right. Like when that show came out, they like approached him to get to. That's where they made their money off this movie. Was the name, man?
Wow.
I'm fucking high because it's not until you said Knight Rider getting paid off of that did I register what the David Hasselhoff reference was. But it's just me being super high. But I totally didn't think of this movie. Yeah, I went to this one completely. It's rare that I go into a movie blind, but like based off the title, I was like, all right, it's the 80s. It's good, it's gonna have some action in it. If it's not a horror movie, at least. None of that. About like 40 minutes in is when I kind of paused the movie to kind of like, what is this about? Essentially, But I powered through it, and I think all you gentlemen, besides Brooks so far, I'm sure I'll agree with him though, have all made very great observations on this movie, very astute. Joe kind of nailed it down for me. It's a peculiar movie because I did feel I was like Double Dragon.
Damn.
But
when you said, I'm sure I'll agree with Brooks, that just made me think of it, man. I was like, yep.
But no, it's a peculiar movie because, it's just a day in the life of these carny folk, essentially like LARPers, as Fable put it. And, just seeing their trials and tribulations. But it's, weird because I did find myself thinking like, this is probably like, it's a movie about nothing, I guess, if depending on how people take it, look at it. Some people might find LARPing to not be worth it. But, the passion and the acting and the fact that within the story, these characters had a dream and built something out of that. No matter if people may deem it not non-serious or whatever, he still did something out of nothing. He built something out of nothing. Beautiful shots in this movie, but it's just the run. I'm gonna distill it. It's the runtime. That's my only gripe with this movie. It's almost like George Romero had an idea in mind, but once he started filming, he was like, I like all these characters. I'm gonna build more, and just had a really tough time editing this down to something. It's not, no joke, no disrespect. It does seem like soap opera, it does seem like it would be a perfect, like on a serialized format, television format, it'd be amazing.
Yeah, it's that. All
with the music. But overall, I think this is a great experience. It was a worthy experience. It's like someone said earlier, I forget, he went for it. It's not going to be for everyone, but I respect the fact that this is so against the grain of what I was, I would have never thought Romero would do a film like this. I respect the shit out of that because there's a lot of passion in it. It does feel like a passion project. It's a different one, man, but I respect the shit out of it. I'm glad I watched it.
Heck yeah. I love that. All right. I'm very eager to hear this. Brooks, what did you think about Knightriders first time watch?
I loved it. I thought it was I enjoyed the hell out of this movie. It does have its problems. It has its drawbacks. I think it tries to spread itself a bit too thin in a lot of ways. And I agree that, the king isn't isn't as fleshed out enough. And I think if he'd had cut some of the more superfluous, plot threads and given a little more development to the king, it would have worked a lot better. but at the same time, I kind of feel like he's the message with the king is that, you know, you gather his character from like the way his knights treat him, like the reverence they have for him, the respect they have for him. And like, yeah, like, you know, this movie is very much like, you know, the movie's more about the message than anything. It's like, you know, kind of a message of like, you know, freedom. And it reminds me of like Easy Rider in that way, which is kind of like an obvious comparison, you know, because it's like that whole biker culture of, you know, the freedom of the road, you know, but also like it also has a sense of community, whereas Easy Rider was more about kind of like a few lone wolves. This one's more of like, you know, it's like a traveling commune almost. And like, you know, I love, you know, I love how like this kid like comes up to him with his magazine. And he just like totally like disrespects. He like just shatters this poor kid's dreams. Yeah. And then like, you know, and then later on he brings it back by like just walking into his class with a sword and handing it to him. I don't think they'd be able to get away with that.
Bro, 1981.
I was gonna say, were the 80s that relaxed, bro? Back then, where a disheveled man could just walk in the middle of class with the sword bleeding.
Yeah, like who just executed a police deputy, right? With an ice cream machine.
Yeah, I'm surprised he wasn't smoking a cigarette when he walked in that class.
Why was he not arrested? Yeah. It's the 80s.
Yeah.
You should have had.
I think the length of this movie could have been justified if they had spent the time better, because it is kind of supposed to have like an epic feel to it. But I think he like a lot of like I said, there's a lot of superfluous stuff. Like one of the things that really bugged me is, you know, when the girlfriend comes back home and her mom is like got a black eye and she's like, you know, that's because of me, right? I'm like what? Like all of a sudden like this goofy father character is like an abuser, and it makes a old dude seem like more of a bastard for just dropping her back off there, like, you know, knowing that. So like, you know, I think there's a few things about it, but like overall I really did enjoy it. Like, you know, I thought the stunt work was pretty cool too. Like, you know, I loved watching them joust with the maces and the melee weapons. You know, they'd have the guy in the sidecar. I thought it was a fun idea. So
I'd go watch some shit like that in real life, bro. Like that.
Totally. I'd be totally down for that.
Bro, I can't believe some of the stunts those motherfuckers were doing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely crazy stuff, man. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm liking this conversation so far, guys. So that's what we overall think about it. But let's dive in a little bit deeper. It's got a great cast, man. Great characters. I think my favorite thing is the characters. We're going to go through our favorites real quick. I picked the movie, so it's my pick. I go first. So I'll go Brother Blue as Merlin. Really love him. He is a shining, warm light in this movie. So Brother Blue was an American educator, storyteller, actor, musician, and street performer, mostly from the Boston area. Romero knew him, and he wrote the character not this way, but they actually were they auditioned Morgan Freeman and wanted him, but Morgan Freeman and George A. Romero did not get along whatsoever. No. So Brother Blue came in and he brought his own vibe. Like the way he plays Merlin is him. Like when he does all the cool like skibbity stuff or whatever the hell it is, man. When he, you know, when he's talking jive and stuff like that, and he's doing his street poetry and stuff. That's just him inherently, man. And I think it infuses the movie. I think he is the heart of this movie. He is the balance. And I think we learn a lot about who William is as a character through Merlin's respect for him in particular. So I'm going to go with Merlin. What about you, Jelani? Who you got?
Man, I'm doing it. I'm picking Tom Savini. I'm sorry, as Morgan. I love him. And I also choose him because he's so underused in this film. He's got a great character. He's got a great personality. But the man is known for making like creature art. And damn it, this is a huge missed opportunity for like something to be like they're LARPers and then some shit goes down with demons or witches or something. And like this man, you have Tom Savini sitting right the fuck there. And you didn't make any monsters. You didn't do anything for this man.
The lance should have went through somebody's fucking mouth.
Went through somebody's face.
You know, and he's like the second main actor in the movie, so he wouldn't have had probably the time to really devote. And he's really good in the movie, Jelani. You're right. Like, I'm surprised that Savini doesn't get utilized more.
Tom Savini, he's got like this naturalism to him, and maybe it's because my first experience with him was in From Dusk Till Dawn. But he always like anytime I see him in a movie, it's never like, you know, when M. Night Shyamalan makes a cameo or something, it's like, oh, director making a cameo. He's not an actor or something. Tom Savini actually could have been an actor if he didn't do what, you know,
exactly.
Master.
He has the look. He's got the riz.
Yeah.
He's got everything about him in this movie. He's so impactful, and he's just misused as crap. And
dude, when I saw him at Scarefest a couple years ago, I was really disappointed he didn't have an 8x10 of that picture of him like spread out in the magazine.
Hey, listen, he pulled that off, man. The man is, you know,
and he does, and he looks sexy. Yeah, that's a handsome feller. He was a handsome feller, and like he's great in this film, and he works well with everyone. He's just a great character altogether. I had a point about him before that I completely forgot. I should have written it down, but like he's the perfect sellout. He's a guy, but he realizes that he's a sellout, and he's like, crap, I need to like fix this. You know, he goes back and like makes amends with the king, and that's the funniest part. Once again, bruh, there's so many aspects of Excalibur in this, and it hurts me that they didn't make this like a sci-fi event, like an actual thing. It could have been done. Like, you show me the LARPer thing at the beginning, and then Act 2 is the apocalypse or whatever the hell happens. And then, like, it's these LARPers, and they're like, what the shit is happening? And
like they're surviving.
I've got this route.
Happens.
Yeah, you kill some of them guys. You kill some of them guys or whatever. You missed an opportunity. It was missed, and I hate it. But he's like, to me, he's like the best character in this film.
Yeah.
Just because he's seen the error of his ways. He has a full arc because he's a cheating, philandering asshole. And he wants to be, but he's cocky, but he likes his group. He likes his carny friends. He's not a total jerk towards the end. He totally makes the full turn. It's something Billy should have had, but he didn't.
Well, he buys in, right? He buys into that the Camelot state of mind. Right, he buys into that, and he buys into the idea of the freedom of the road and being outside of the system, right? But he loses that, and then realizes how hollow that is. Yes. But what he becomes at the end, I think, is what's really important is the bridge to the new generation, right? The next level, the next
This
wave.
is the funny part. This is the funny part. Yes, he does. He becomes the king of the biker group that attacks the mall.
Yes, it's a prequel to Dawn of the Dead. I love it. I love it. Well put, like, man. Tom Savini's a great pick. What about you, Joe? What you got?
All right, so only because there's a million fucking people in this movie, and I'm gonna mention one very minor role just because it's really fun for Romero fans, and then I'm also going to mention my main pick, Joe Pilato as like the disgruntled fair worker. That bit where he's, as soon as he starts yelling, you know, I'm just waiting for him to be like, I'm running this monkey farm now. And like, I just,
and seeing him in like hippie gear is so weird every time, man.
Why was that his only scene? I never saw him again.
He's so like aggro, and it's great. But you know, what was it? The main you know, gay character, was it Pippin, who's played by Walter Shook, right? You know, you guys touched on him already a little bit, but I mean, that like initial campfire scene where it's like, well, are you gay? Like, and he's like, I don't know. And like, you like very genuinely, like, I'm not sure. And it's, you know, sort of his journey over it. And like, he's good, and he's not really in anything else. He's just been in like a few Romero movies. I think he has like a cameo kinda in like Dawn of the Dead, a very small role. I think he's in Creepshow, I think. But like, that's kind of it. But the other important thing with it too is, you know, he does find love within the troop and more or less has a happy ending. And that is great. Like, that is ahead of its time for sure. This was at a time where most queer rep in movies at this point, it's either the entire point of the movie or it's a horror movie and they're one of the victims for the most part. I know I'm really dumbing down all of cinema right now, but you know what I'm saying. But yeah, I mean, the fact that they're able to do that in this movie, but like obviously Romero has always been a very progressive director. Night of the Living Dead, very progressive theme. Same thing with Dawn of the Dead. You know, so it makes sense.
Yeah, and it wasn't just him too, because the girl was a lesbian.
Yes,
and she tells him, I get by because I know who I am. Like, I don't have to. Yeah, I thought that was very strong.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But yeah, that's my pick.
Absolutely, great picks, man. Both of them. The Joe, he shows up here. He is so aggro, like for just be wearing that shirt. And you do expect, like, it's all in the Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead world. Jelani, you're right, man. It's the biker gang that attacks the mall. He then goes and joins the military once he quits this damn LARPing troop or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
I love it. Fable, what's a character you want to highlight?
I'm gonna pick Alan, the blonde head dude, man. He's I've always like ride or die, you know, people, you know, in movies and stuff. And I think he holds down Billy more than Billy deserves. Right? Yeah. He believes in Billy a lot, and he believes in this culture that he's created, and he really enjoys what he does, but it's like hard to defend Billy, right? You could see that in the way he does things in this movie, and he even goes down and he tells Morgan, like, listen, man, you want to be king, you know the rules, right? Like, let him know you gotta fight for it, but that's the only way. And I don't know, I just like the way he held it down for Billy. I felt more for him than Billy, if that makes any sense. I would have maybe liked to see
Billy's girl.
He sure did,
and that was kind of weird, man. I was like,
she's yours now.
Yeah.
I'll go to him.
The passing off was weird too.
That was a weird characterization.
So that could have just been like taking care of her, possibly.
Maybe.
No.
That was strange.
That was a pass off. That was a pass off.
I feel like he probably should have ended up being king more than Morgan. Like, he should have won the joust and succeeded Billy, and because, you know, Morgan, I love Morgan, I love the character and everything, but you know, he's a greaseball, man. That guy's gonna so he's gonna run that troop into the floor. With if they had like a follow-up movie like 4 months
he's
later.
ruining it.
4 months later, zombies attack, Dawn of the Dead.
Yep. That's all it takes.
They all kind of got what they wanted. Like, I don't think Alan really wanted to be the king or top dog. I think he just believed in, So it's like Morgan
but he held up the ideals though, right? Like, of what makes it special to be a part of that group. Like, he held those ideals.
Right, he kept the steam going.
Yeah. So I would have probably enjoyed that, but I just like the way he held his boy down, and that's basically what I enjoyed about him.
I like that. Steph, who you got?
Well, it was gonna be Tom Savini. Like I said, there's something about Tom Savini, man. But there's a plethora of characters in this movie. I was drawn to a lot of like the minor characters. Like the doctor was one. Robbie mentioned him, but the mechanic girl who ends up becoming queen at the end, like Punch, Pippin's lover. You know, I think they were like the glue to the group. They gave support
exactly
to the
like
figures.
Little Dicky. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yo, I thought I saw Henry Cavill in this movie at one point. To be honest, there were a lot of attractive people in this movie. But I like Punch and the mechanic chick. They were like minute, but they're also like great support characters. And with the, in particular with the doctor and the mechanic, you know, they could have easily been doing like something else with their skill trade. But here they are with this troop of jousters on bikes, and you know, it's just that was really cool and kind of spoke to me spoke to like their ethics. You know, like they're not. It's easy to become like a doctor or something, get paid mechanic, and be a sellout. They weren't sellouts, you know, which this movie kind of, there's a theme of selling out, but they were not corporate. They were the opposite of that. So I like the smaller characters like that.
Hell yeah. You know, the mechanic chick is Chris Romero, who was George's wife for a long, long time. She was in a bunch of stuff. And Martin, she's the Martin's cousin or whatever the hell.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
Remember her? Yeah. So that's super cool. It's always one of my favorite things about Romero movies is, you know, that these are like homemade movies, basically. I mean, some of them, I mean, for us, they're big budgets. Nobody's ever given us like $5 million to make a movie or some shit. But like, they're low budget movies, but you can tell that they're like made by a community. Like, this is George and his friends. And you see it by seeing these same people in all of these movies.
Ken
Foray's in this movie.
What?
Yep.
Ken Foray's in this movie.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. He's like the blacksmith, right?
Yeah.
Anthony DeLeo from Day of the Dead.
Yep. Yep. John Amplis is the mime, the guy who played Martin. Yeah. Super cool. What about you, Brooks? What's a performance you want to highlight?
Well, this will probably be a shock to everybody, but my favorite character was Rocky, the female knight. Like, you know, when she whips that helmet off and the hair comes out, I was like, oh, bro.
Surprise.
Yeah. Like, she's like, I love, she seems to be like, she's like a top tier knight. Like, you know, she's one of like, you know, she's like one of the most fearsome knights, I think, in this thing. But she doesn't make a big deal about it. But, you know, she knows she's like one of the best. And like, you know, and she's hot, you know, she's a hottie. I like her. But since I'm at the last, I have a secondary I want to mention, which was the Crow Knight, which they call him in the credits, they call him the Indian, which is like, man, that's like, what kind of unoriginal name you gonna give this cool ass character? Because I always think of him as a Crow Knight, because you know he had the crow on his shield, and like I love how he's kind of like after he becomes defeated, he becomes kind of the King's shadow in a way, and he's like the guy who follows him on his, like, you know, his trail. Yeah, like at the end of his journey, he's the one who's right there beside him. You know, like when he goes into the bar and beats the shit out of that asshole cop, he's the one that's standing there, like, you know, making sure that nobody gets in the way. So yeah, like I think he deserves, like, you know, and I don't think he says a single thing in the movie either. Like,
no,
you know,
no line.
like just a completely, he's just a presence, you know.
Yeah,
that's two characters that have no lines in the movie, right?
Yeah.
Rocky has a few lines.
Yeah, what was Rocky's line? She always said something to these guys when they weren't like, when she was whooping their ass. She would say something to them.
When she was on the battlefield, she
like bad form or some shit. I don't know what she said.
Yeah. She tells me he has bad form, and then later on he comes back at her with it when she loses the joust. Yeah.
That's right. All right. Those are some great highlights, everybody. Let's get to the style and structure. We've talked a lot on this already, especially the length. I think we're all in agreement. It's a little bit too long. But the style is great. Like Joe was saying, it's beautifully shot. It looks gorgeous. This might be technically one of the best shot and put together Romero films, just on a technical level with like visuals and just how it pieces together. The editing is amazing. I do think they overuse some of the motorcycle bits. It starts feeling repetitive, right? But once they figured out how to do that flip off that bike, I guess they just said, just do it like 20 times and let's just fucking put it throughout the whole movie. So yeah, it could be trimmed up and all that stuff, but I love its commitment to focusing on the characters. And I think the character work is where this movie really strives and delivers with its story. I think that's the meat of it. I think it's ensemble. It's about this whole troop of people, this whole community. And it gives me like, I don't know, man, like a movie like Dazed and Confused, right? The way that ensemble works, right? It kind of feels to me like that. And I like movies that have characters that they utilize that way. So I think that movie's pretty strong that way. Jelani, what do you think?
Stylistically, it's fine. It does what it needs to do. I like how Williams' Knights look a certain way, and I like the way the Knightriders look. I like their bikes. I like all the things that happen. I think that like it looks great. Like I said, Tom Savini was definitely underused as a makeup artist because there could have been some stuff that they could have done for him to like make some of this stuff shine a little more. The wounds look a little bit more pronounced, especially with
even when King. My bad. But you just reminded me, like, Tom Savini is in this. It didn't feel like he was in this as a makeup artist, visual effects artist at all. Like, even the bike scene at the very end, they could have, it could have been.
There's so much
like they just tossed a bunch of.
Well, one thing too, though, about Tom is he's also a stunt man. So, like, he was doing a lot of that.
He
work
did all
as
the
well.
motorcycle stunts.
He was doing all this.
That man's a
bunch of
jack
stunts
of
and
all
putting that
trades.
together too.
Oh,
Yeah, he is. And speaking of that, like the stunts, some of them ran a little too long. They were like we said, we've already said it. The movie's long. You could have cut out 15 minutes of some of the main the first part,
even more,
or more even more of the little scenes where it runs a little too long for the motorcycle stunts. And I'm impressed by them because if you're falling off a bike, even like normally or regular or whatever, it hurts.
Right,
Like,
I fucking fell off a 4-wheeler, dude. Not never again have I ever gotten on anything
No, absolutely
that was not
That's
enclosed.
why you gotta wear all the pads and the helmets and shit. You gotta wear it because that shit hurts when you fall, especially when a bike falls on you. And when Alan had the bike fall on him, and it picked up and fell, I felt that because I've never gotten that far, but I know that hurts.
Shadow.
Like it's just ain't no way in the world, man. Ain't no way in God's green earth I'm gonna be on a bike and do all the stunts that they did in this movie. It's freaking wild. I'm impressed by that. Like I said, but the structure of itself is meandering. It's all over the place. The tonal shifts are weird. I don't know what movie I'm in. I should know in the first 15 minutes of a movie what movie I'm in. I don't know what the first 15 minutes of this movie was an entire LARPing scene. It didn't feel right. It didn't feel like I thought I was getting set up for a zombie apocalypse movie. I really was. I was geared up, but I've heard no one talk about Knightriders other than the TV show. And so I was expecting Kit to come out. It was just one of those things where I was waiting for the other shoe to drop, and the shoe never dropped. It was just this. And not that that's a bad thing. And I was willing to watch it all the way through and not be pissed that I didn't see what I was expecting to see. Because you got weapons, you got guys on motorcycles jousting. Bruh, there should be a whole nother, like, they should have been fighting a biker gang if you're going to be contemporary about it. If you're going to be contemporary about it, it should have been a whole ass biker gang that like
well, they were
into the LARP community.
Yeah, they beat a biker gang's ass.
Shit job of it. It was shit. That's what I'm saying. It should have been an actual threat.
A rival troop.
Oh, okay. Overarching.
A rival troop of people, or just a biker gang that piss off.
A competing product.
Something that happens, or even the Knightrider scenario. You named the movie Knightriders, and you didn't make it where Morgan actually had a whole different group of people, and he sold out, and he got his money, and he's actually famous in Las Vegas. You know what I'm saying? He actually made it in Las Vegas. It's an actual show, and like he wants to come back and challenge them, and actually be mean-spirited about it. He could have been the villain. You could have had Morgan actually be the villain, but he's more loyal than he was anything else. Not that that's a bad thing. I'm not getting, once again, it's not terrible that he wasn't. It just would have made the story a little bit more, even more dramatic. Like if you're going to have a drama like this, it was kind of soft. It's kind of weak.
Have the internal drama really be heavy
really be in
there.
there.
I get what you mean.
Yeah.
People choose sides for real. And then you got all these characters and you're not using them to be on these sides.
You are my brother, Morgan.
Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah.
You are the chosen one.
Because he still loves Billy.
Yeah.
He still loves Billy, and you could tell he loves Billy. He just thinks he can run the
he
place
loved
better.
Billy.
That's all.
But just wow,
Morgan.
it was a lot of missed opportunities with this film. That's all.
Okay. All right, Joe, what you got, man? Style and structure. What are your thoughts?
Well,
were you just drinking a Capri Sun?
He sure was.
No, it's one of those Kool-Aid jammers.
Oh, okay, nice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Special, tasty.
Right. But no, this was style-wise, it's easily one of the most stylish movies George Romero's ever done. It's the first movie, prior to like Creepshow, all that. This is the first movie, just going chronologically, that like feels like a Hollywood movie. Like Dawn of the Dead doesn't quite feel like a Hollywood movie. This feels like it gets to that caliber of film. And I think it really helps elevate Romero's work. Like it really feels like, okay, I am watching a movie. The structure, like people were saying, like it's the tonal shifts and all, like it's very messy. But it's messy because it's so impenetrable. If he made a film that like brought the audience in a bit more, I don't think it would feel as jarring. But it's because the audience, the way it's done, we feel so much on the outside of this looking in and not invited that I think it's coming off more jarring to us than it would be like the characters. And like, I don't know if there's a way to fix that with all of the footage he shot, but I'd love to see a more inviting opening kind of movie, because I feel like some of that, I don't know how much of that is intentional and how much of that isn't. Like, but because Billy is the George Romero insert character, was he committing the same mistakes that Billy and King Arthur was by keeping everything together, by keeping his creativity intact? Did he push away those who care, aka the audience, and prevent them from getting as close as they could have? It's an interesting way to think about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's how I kind of look at the film. And that's why I'm like, man, like it's kind of the story of William is tragic because Romero, I think, knew where his career was going to go. And I think he then made steps after this movie to try to correct that. But unfortunately, some of those movies didn't work very well, like Monkey Shines. They didn't really do very well. Fable, what about you? What did you think about the style and structure of Knightriders?
I can't add too much more to that. I think you guys pretty much covered it. I think the style is great. It's original. I like the design for each sector of characters, right? The Black Knights, and they had their look, and King Arthur Knights had his look. I mean, Billy's, you know what I'm saying. His knights had their look, and you had the maidens, and you had the bards, and you know what I mean? Everybody, to the point where they went to his funeral in full costume, like they were just like, they still dressed up. But I also think it hurt. It's what caused the runtime. He's so in love with the style that he spends too much time showing it off. Like, you know what I mean? If that makes any sense. Like, when Joe said it was a little pretentious, that's where I get like, he's like, don't these bikes look cool, man? These bikes are cool, man. Look how cool they look, rolling down the highway, and there's fucking like 4 or 5 of them and shit. And those are beautiful shots. But he does it about 4 or 5 times, right? The same thing like Robbie said, the flipping off the bikes and shit. The stunt work is great, but we got it the first time. or you know, the lance hitting the guys or bashing each other on the head with something. It's just repeated so many times. We get it. It looks cool. And I don't know if he was trying to. I don't know if it was his passion for it or him thinking him. Maybe motocross shit was hot at that time. I don't know. I wasn't around. You know, maybe that was a vibe. You know, sort of like roller skating, right? Like, did they have roller derby and shit back in the days? That shit totally was gone. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's a thing because remember what he told the kid when he wanted the thing side. He said, "This is Evil Knievel shit. This is fraud shit. Like almost like punk rock shit. You know what I mean? When punk rock, you're like, that's not punk rock. You know what I mean? It's like infiltrating this subculture. So maybe he was trying to represent that, or maybe he was just in love with his own shit. I can't tell. But because of that, it causes the movie's length to be a lot longer than it should be. So style is great, but style may be the reason why structure is not so great.
Nice. All right. Speaking of a lot longer than he should be, Steph, what do you think about the style and structure of Knightriders?
Style, 2 thumbs up. Structure, it could be. You know, it's a weird beast. I don't hate it, but I just things could be tweaked. But yeah, this style wise, some of the film composition of the shots going on in the movie, I was like, man, I didn't know George Romero had it in him. You know, to be honest, not as any disrespect, but yeah, I when Joe said this feels like a studio film, I always thought like Romero was like indie filmmaker to the end. I mean, and he still is, but it was cool to see his style change so much. So yeah, style, 2 thumbs up, and structure, we've talked about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Brooks, what do you think? Wrap that up for us.
Yeah, like I said, I like the style. You know, I love the medieval nice thing he's got going, and he's got the modern biker aesthetic as well. Yeah, but like I said, I think the problem is in the story is that he tries to go in too many different directions a lot of the time. He kind of veers off into the characters that he never really wraps up their threads. They just kind of are left hanging there. And it's like, why didn't you just cut that out and build another character more? It's like, and King Billy especially, because they do have his main thread of when he gets arrested, and you see when that cop is beating up on his friend, it's like the idea he really cares about his troop. He cares about his people. He's as loyal to them as they are to him. And I think I wish he would have shown that a little bit more. That's why I think Billy doesn't resonate as much as he should have. As the king, he feels too aloof. He feels too above things. But still, and it is long, but I didn't feel like it was too terrible long. And I love that the bike stunt work looks really cool. I'm not much of a bike guy myself, but I can appreciate good stunts and cool stunts and bike work and stuff like that. So yeah, I think it's got its problems with the structure, but so does every movie in its own way. So yeah, but style wise, I think he gets it pretty good. Maybe if you're not expecting it, but I didn't come into this movie with any real expectations. I was just kind of came in I'll just see what it is. I know it's Romero, but I'm not gonna jump to any conclusions as to what the movie is gonna be. And so I think that helped me enjoy it a lot more because I didn't come in there with any kind of preconceived notions of what the movie was going to be.
All right, I like that. Let's briefly talk about the music here. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, real quick, you guys got me thinking about the Billy disconnect or the Sir William King William. Because it's doing the whole King Arthur thing. They think they're trying to portray Arthur through a legend, the legend of others. How others view him, kind of like the legend of King Arthur. It's always all about legends that others have told.
They definitely play with it because in the beginning he has the visions of the crow, right? And that kind of he get the crow night comes or whatever, and they try to make that a thing, but it's not really a fucking thing. Yeah. And then he's in the water butt naked and he beats himself with this fucking branch.
Yeah, the self-flagellation thing is kind of what's that about?
And that's an aspect of his character not explored.
His penance for sins.
Yeah, but it's there, right? So it's like there's something there, but it's just not fucking hitting. Like I can't tell you why. Yeah, you're right. Absolutely.
I thought he was gonna go psycho after he was self-flagellating, because I was like, oh yeah, this is gonna keep going where it escalates to where he's nuts, and we have to put him down like a dog or something. But the truck takes care of him. So
well, and it's like they do the mythical. They do the mythical thing. There. Yeah, they do the mythical legendary thing, but like they do also. It's sometimes it's hard, especially in I guess a film, to like get into a very stoic character like Billy is, right? And so a lot of it has to reflect from the way people respond and react to him, right? A little bit.
His stoicism kind of makes him come off as an asshole too, especially when the kid, this kid who like adores him and just wants like, his autograph, but he's like, his code like doesn't let him just, be nice to the kid.
Because he lives by the code, man.
Honor in the kid. The kid will take something from that. Like, that's why he didn't sign my shit.
Like you see what he's trying to do, but a kid wouldn't understand that. A kid's not going to understand. Like, oh no, like
No, yeah.
No, a kid won't understand that. But
dreams.
At least he got the sword. Well, Billy did kind of make up for some things, I think, at the end there.
True.
He did.
Yeah, so I think he has an arc too, and I like it. But I think Ed Harris sells it. I really do. At least for me. But I've watched the movie multiple times, man. And but like I said, it's not one that I watch very, very often. However, let's talk about the music real quick. It is done by Donald Rubinstein, who is the brother of producer Richard Rubinstein. We last discussed him last month or about a month ago when we were talking about Martin. He did the score for Martin. Other George Romero projects like the Tales from the Dark Side movie and Bruiser, which is a 2004 George Romero film that I think is not talked about enough. So maybe Bruiser on the channel at some day. But anyway, I really like the music. It's modern, but it's still very much like Renaissance-y, medieval. It's doing that thing, but it's also trying to be a little rock and roll with it. And I actually think it blends pretty well. And when you listen to the score of something like Martin and the difference here and how appropriate it is for the project, blows my mind. Let's go in reverse order right now. Brooks, what do you think about the music?
I thought it was fine. Like, it didn't stand out particularly to me. It is very much, it has that kind of like medieval Renaissance fair feel to it a lot of the time. It's got like the fife and the lute and stuff like that kind of sounds. It didn't like, I liked it, but I kind of expected a little bit more of that classic rock feel to it. But and it is there a little bit, but it mostly just feels kind of like your standard kind of like fantasy style music.
Yeah, got you there. What about you, Steph?
If I could unmute myself, my bad. My music was actually one of the highlights for me in the film. I like the variety. Like they had the medieval stuff to fit the jousting. They had the rock to fit the hippie vibe, of the travel vibe. But there's also like, I forget what scene it was. It fits that you said the producer who did Martin did this, because Martin had a lot of like, there's like this jazzy tune that I really dug in the midway through the film.
There's some folksy bits to it too, right? Folksy bits too.
Yes,
in fact, Donald's in the movie.
Yeah,
he's like one of the musicians in the movie. He might even be the guy that says, "I wrote a song for you. I'll play it for you later." That's the song he plays for him at the funeral.
I actually like that song. I thought that was a cool little switch up. But yeah, the music I think was one of the better parts of the film. I don't think it's in your face, but I just happened to be really, really blitzed when I was watching this. So I was like, hell yeah. This is cool.
That works.
Yeah. Fable, what about you, man? What did you think about the music?
I think it's fine. I really can't pick out anything that I loved about it, but it has its Arthurian medieval stuff going on, right? The bard kind of music and the horns. I like all that stuff. I like when they put I don't know what kind of music you would call it, but when the guy was fucking around with the track and he put on some like kind of like dance hippie music. I don't know what it is, and everybody started getting down and shit and having a good time. And I was like, and then he turned it off, and he was like, I was like, yeah, why'd you turn that
Billy
off?
Billy was like, no, that's not my stuff.
Right.
George Romero says that a lot of the extras they used were like locals in this very redneck place they were, and like there were people that were like, he said there was this one dude who was getting all up in Ken Foree's face for being a black dude or something, and like he was just being like racist and really belligerent, and everybody was like, dude, why are you stepping to this dude out of everybody here? Like, are you serious? He's gonna beat your
Ken Foree. Yeah.
There was a guy with a damn swastika on his forehead in this shit. I don't know if you guys noticed that shit.
What's that?
There was a guy with
the biker swastika.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, a lot of rednecks up there apparently. Rednecks everywhere, man. What about you, Joe, man? Any thoughts on the music?
It was one of the few things in the movie that kind of invited you a little bit. It was like, oh, okay, I guess this like it worked for me on that level of like, okay, you're trying to meet me halfway here, because the directing isn't. It seems to have no fucking interest if I'm watching this movie or not. It seems very much like we're doing our own thing, fuck off. But the music, at least, kind of was enough to kind of bring you in a little more. So I think the music was effective in that way. There's nothing that's like a super standout. There's no like single on this song you're gonna like put it on the car or something like that. I'm never gonna just like listen to the soundtrack for the sake of it, but it almost makes you feel like they want you to watch it.
Nice. Okay, I like it. Very well put. Jelani, why don't you wrap up the music conversation for us, please?
I'm sorry, I don't know what y'all talking about. Goblin should have done the soundtrack for this, and Dust in the Wind should have been playing as one of the songs in this movie. Y'all are killing me. I was waiting for y'all to just trash this music. I was gonna trash it.
Whenever Goblin tries to do like American like rock music, it sounds weird to me, man. Like
I want prog rock in this daggum LARPing thing, this LARPing festival. I want prog rock. Damn it, that's all I need. That's all I need. And like, I don't know. It's just, it's so generic. I was waiting for it. I was waiting for that hook. I'm waiting for that music. I'm waiting for that Dawn of the Dead. I'm waiting for something that's going to hit me. And like, because you need music in this film. This film has the fantasy deal. And it is great fantasy lore. It works in certain spots, but it's sparse. It's few and far between for me. So it's fine. But it's not great. Right. I still think Dust in the Wind should have been in this movie.
And I would not be opposed to that. I would say I would not vote against that. Let's dive in. We are the pop culture philosophers. We want to dig a little bit deeper. What is this movie saying? I'm going to kick us off since it is my pick. I think I should do that. To me, this is one of the most personal movies George A. Romero has made. Look at his career. He did Night of the Living Dead. Some buffoonery that they didn't realize was going on, but they never actually got a copyright filed for that movie. George Romero never made money off of Night of the Living Dead, right? Then he makes a bunch of like small films on his own that didn't really do anything, and then Argento convinces him to do another zombie film, which he did not want to do, but at this point he was like, sure, I would I'll bring you to Rome to write the damn movie and we'll help fund it and all this stuff. We know that story, right? And then he did that. And, and he was working on his own. He was always trying to he was a maverick. He did not want to work within the system. He wanted to work entirely independently, right? He did do commercial work, and that was for commercials, like beer commercials and shit in Pittsburgh. That's what they did to pay the bills to make the filmmaking work, but they didn't really make money doing movies. And he had a whole bunch of people around him that he employed that he couldn't really pay or couldn't pay very well, right? And at a certain point, and this is what he says in the special features and the commentaries, like he just kind of realized that he was self-sabotaging his own success by not relinquishing just a little bit of his moral or artistic code and integrity as an artist, right? So this is about that struggle between creative integrity and commercial success. Yeah. And I think that he realized he was going to commit, or he was committing, commercial and career suicide, basically, not giving in any way to the system. Why is Knightriders 2.5 hours? If there was somebody that was like reeling that in,
a producer, yeah,
then it wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, big time producer.
Him and Rubenstein fell apart shortly after this project, I believe. But then look at where his career went. He went and did with Stephen King, and I can't believe we really didn't mention Stephen King in the movie. I mean, that's great, right?
Oh yeah, he's in this movie.
Oh yeah, we mentioned that, right? Stephen King over there in the crowd.
He's like the guy who's like at a wrestling match being like, so you know it's fake, right?
Yeah, it's fake. Yeah. So he's there heckling. Tabitha's there as well, his wife. So then George starts working with Stephen King while they're making this movie. That's why he's on set. They're actually working on the script for Creepshow. Yeah. And I think Romero knew that was his shot. It had some good funding, got some great distribution, right? And then look at his career in the 80s. That was what he was doing, is he was trying to make commercial movies. He was trying to, it's one thing to be an artist, but when, you still got to support a family and a whole crew and community of artists around you, because George Romero was very much a Pittsburgh guy. So I feel like he kind of exercised that demon while killing Will at the end. And I think that's why Billy dies at the end. Yeah. And I love that bit. And I also love how I loved how abrupt that is too. Yeah. And I think that's what this movie is. I think that's what this movie is saying. What about you, Jelani?
He's so capable, man. He's such a capable guy. You see it in every movie he does. I mean, didn't he do The Dark Half?
Yep.
Too?
The Dark Half? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He's so capable. And it's just like,
and that was one that Stephen King was like, hey, man, I'm going to throw you a bone because Monkey Shines did not help you out. Jelani, what about you? What's this movie speaking to you?
I'm going to piggyback off you a little bit about integrity versus selling out. Sell out, kids. Sell out quickly, because had Morgan done what he was supposed to do in the dumbasses that he had, he could have hired new bikers and just got new contracts for all of those guys and like had a whole Vegas show, bro, and like make a freaking fortune and felt dead inside and all that other shit and cocaine and all the other shit, bro. Sell out. Sell it out, man. Because look where integrity gets you. Your integrity, you don't sign children's autographs. You yell at your crew. You're an asshole. You
don't take care of your wounds.
You don't. So
you're hallucinating on the street. Get hit by a truck.
You get hit by a truck and you die. You fucking die. You're a loser. You're a loser if you do integrity. Fucking sell out. Sell out and die in a cocaine dream. Do it. Do it. Do it, kids. Fucking do it.
All right. That only from Jelani kind of take really shines through sometimes. Tonight it does. I love that. I love that, man. Sell out, man. Do something. Make a beer commercial. Joe, what about you, man?
Where about these fools? Get a yacht.
Well, there's in addition to the really obvious stuff, there is a lot of stuff with the the nonconformity clashing with authority kind of stuff. Like they make the whole point of like, well, this is a group of, kind of outcasts. There's openly queer people involved. There's a lot of women involved. There's, Black characters and all of that, like to make it. And they're the closest thing to like a real antagonist is that like local sheriff's deputy guy who's a real dick. So like there is this like slightly less over the top theme of social nonconformity and conflicting with authority, and how if you're different, authority will treat you differently, like you will be targeted for these things. So I really appreciate like that being like worked in addition to, the Arthurian stuff and, everything that was, Robbie was mentioning.
Yeah, absolutely. Nicely put. Fable, what about you, man? What's this movie speaking to your soul?
I think it's a movie of like belonging, inclusion, just like you were saying, feeling a part of something. I think it really is what you said, Robbie, and what Jelani was saying also is the artistic, stuff versus the commercial stuff. I really do feel like that is the intent. But I what I got from it personally is what Joe was saying earlier. Joe hit on my theme early when he was talking about holding on to something so hard that it slips through your fingers, right? Not being able to recognize, not being able to see a little bit past yourself, right? Or the ideals, right? The ideals he's trying to hold up, where he's got these people that really care about the same thing he cares about, but like they have their own little idea too, right? And it's like important to include everybody's kind of take on things, and Billy's just so iron fisted and everything just slips through and he loses everything, guys. Like he loses a troop, he loses his friends, he loses his girl, and he loses his life ultimately. So that's what it spoke to me, even though I don't think that's truly the intent. I do think it's an artistic integrity versus commercial sellout kind of shit, but that's what I was feeling like. Damn, this guy is just he's just so fucking locked in, bro. He's not even realizing he's losing his family.
Yeah. No, 100%. 100%. Steph, what about you?
It's a delay. Live by the code, die by the code comes to mind. And I argue against Jelani's message of selling out earlier. I said don't sell out. I'd be hard pressed to anybody that's inspired us here at one point is a sellout. Maybe there are, but I think most times that people that inspire others, most oftentimes people that inspire others are people who lived by their own code, who lived their own way, did their own thing. Billy lost his life, but he inspired that whole fucking troop of people that are carrying on his idea in the end, So it's like, I don't know, there is that, but there is that overarching theme of like commercialization versus the artistic integrity. But definitely stand for something, or you'll fall for anything.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Don't sell out. By the way, Ben 10 from Dynamite Comics is out this week from Joe Casey. Go check it out. Really fun stuff. It's like absolute Ben 10. Brooks, what about you? What's this book speaking to you? Or this movie? I'm sorry.
Yeah, like, I think it's kind of a common thing when you talk about things like these kind of codes like chivalry and Bushido and things. Like one of like the main things about it is like it's not easy. It's not supposed to be easy. And I think that's kind of Billy's thing is like, he knows, that he's hurting people around him, but he can't not, because selling out would be easy. I'm also against selling out as well, like, because selling out is like quicksand. Like if you get too deep, it sucks you down, and like you lose everything that makes you yourself. Like you have to have like you have to have integrity, I think. But we can disagree on that. But like I'm right because I'm a man of integrity, and I have my moral code, and I think
sell out, Brooks. Be like me.
Never. Like, and that's like, Billy, like, despite the fact that, he is like, pushing people away and, he's not being his best self to the people he cares about. The fact that they don't care, they still stay with him. Like his knights are ride or die for him. And even like, when Morgan leaves, he's like, he's like the whole time he's like, he'll be back. They'll all be back. And he's right because, they know that they know what kind of a man he is. They know about his convictions, and they know that they can trust him to live up to those convictions. So like don't be a sellout. be true to your code, whatever it may be, and you will reap the rewards, of that.
Dude, I love that. Very poignant, man. You know who doesn't sell out and lives by a code? Red Sonja. She's got a new book from Dynamite out this week. Rory McConville's writing it. He's a great writer. He's a cool guy. He's been on the show a couple times. He's friends with Declan Shalvey. It's a good book. I've read it. You should check it out.
Yeah, she fought Wonder Woman.
You're a good shield. You're a good shield.
There you go. All right, time to rate this film out of 5 possible you digs. You out there in the chat, if you watched along or if you've seen this film, let us know what would you give George A. Romero's Knightriders. I'll kick us off. It's my pick. 5 out of 5 you digs. Back in the day, in my early 20s, I would have said 5 you digs, right? Now, I do believe that during Crew's Choice, everybody for the next 2 months, everybody gets a 0.5 bump on their pick, right? It's expected. So with that, and just how much this movie has resonated with me throughout my life, I'm going to give it a 4.5 you digs. 4.5. It's not perfect. It's got flaws, but I actually love it. I think the flaws are kind of part of it in a way, right? And like Joe kind of said earlier, like it almost is like getting through those obstacles this movie puts in the way kind of becomes a more rewarding experience. And then those obstacles get easier the more you watch it. And it feels very novel-like. Like this really would have been expanded well in a novel or even like a television show or something like that.
I've never seen anything like this. This is the first
I know, man.
It's
and that's
totally original.
Yeah, I love that. All right, Jelani, out of 5 you digs, what would you rate it?
I'm still mixed on the movie itself. It's honestly a good film. Like it kept me intrigued, even though the length of it, and even though it drew me away with a lot of the characters, and you're pulling away to different storylines, and you're not focusing on your main cast, which should be Billy and Morgan at least. You're not focusing on them completely as you should in this film, and it's weird that it goes off of these tangents like a television show would. It is a huge telenovela. It's going to be. It just is. So I'm gonna, because of that, I'm gonna do a 3.5. 3.5. I'll watch it again. I know that. I have to watch it with different eyes, but I'm not in the carny mentality. And at least these carnies are way better than the carnies in the Funhouse. So I will say that. So good times.
Well,
watch it with eyes unclouded by hatred.
I don't know why we keep doing this Funhouse bit, man. You guys are gonna fucking talk yourselves into reviewing it again, man. That's what's gonna happen, man. You just wait and see.
Whatever.
Don't fuck around with me.
I will trash it worse the next time.
3.5 from Jelani. What about you, Joe? What you sitting on when it comes to Knightriders?
Yeah, I mean it's a rewarding watch. It's a deeply flawed movie because of a lot of the because it's a personal project, things like that. So like I'm gonna give this a 4. I think it's a very good movie, but Romero gets in his own way a little too much during the movie. There was a possibility that this really could have been his greatest achievement, and unfortunately, it is not. It's hard to beat things like Dawn of the Dead, Martin, some of the other movies that have been mentioned here. So yeah, I'm going to give this a 4.
4 is very respectable for this film, I think. What about you, Fable? What are you thinking?
Honestly, I think it's like a 3.5. Really, it's not my favorite work from Romero, and I think 3.5 is solid. That's a solid score, right? I really do. Yeah. But I'm gonna give it a little. Yeah, I'm gonna give it an extra bump. I'm gonna give it the 3.69. Only because it's totally original, right? And I gotta give it points for that. Like Like it's a little bit of an Inception, right? Like telling the King Arthur kind of story through a troupe that's doing King Arthur shit. I don't know. You know what I'm trying to say? Like it's kind of Inception. Like it's like, and I think that's kind of cool. There's something there with that premise. Like
it is.
If you can do something like that, like modernize, like take some classic tale, I don't know, and then put it in a modern lens, but kind of like it's not that serious. Like it's just this internal,
King Arthur and the Knights of Justice.
Not us. King Arthur with the Knight and the Knights of the Round Table.
That's a great cartoon.
It's arguably not the best Arthurian movie that came out the same weekend.
Well, it's kind of like what's that Romeo and Juliet movie where it's like modern and they got machine guns and shit like
Why
that?
in the hell is that the second time? 2 weeks in a row that gets referenced. 2 weeks in a row that gets referenced.
That's a good
Claire Danes.
I love the Baz Luhrmann.
So
I worked in
gonna
the movie
have to
theater
do
when
it.
it came out.
If it gets brought up one more time, like on another shit, like
gotta review it. But yeah, I think it's somebody said novel. I think novel is the perfect word for it. So I give it the 3.69 for being really novel.
I love that, man. The 3.69, dude. What about you, sir, Steph? Where do you sit in this land of Knightriders?
So the critic in me, after I was trying to find the overall initial enjoyment of it for me was sitting at like a 4, but then I tried to dissect it. I'm like, well, there's I think if we review movies long enough, that's part of the job, I guess. So it's like, oh, it's not perfect. Let me pick this apart. But overall, because I didn't know what to expect of it, and by the end of it, I was like, that was really cool. Like I respect that George Romero swung for the fences and went against the grain, so to say, when making this. I think even at the time, he had probably established himself as a prominent horror director. So to make this is so out of left field, but it works, and I do. It's his best shot movie. It's his best looking movie. It might not be his best movie, but I think visually it is his best movie. There isn't the excitement of the artistry of the makeup effects to win you over in this, So I think that says a lot. So I'll give this one a 4. I was really surprised. The critic of me is like, it's like a 3.5, but personally, this was a shocker. So I'll give this one a 4.
Heck yeah, a 4 from Steph. Man, I'm liking the way this is going. Brooks, finish us up.
Like I said, I love this movie. Like, I love, how original it was, like, and like, how different it was from like all of Romero's other work. And, I understand that, I can see that it's not everybody's cup of tea, obviously, but, it like, I really enjoyed it. And, despite its flaws, which, I think this movie could have used a little more ironing out, a little trimming, like, a little here and there. But, for me, it was an overall enjoyment. And for being like over 2.5 hours, that's really saying something. So I'll give it a 4.5 as well. Like, it's not a perfect movie, but like, I really liked it a lot, and like I said, I didn't come in with any preconceived notions of what it was going to be. So I think that helped me enjoy it more, because I wasn't caught off guard by it. And at the same time, like, I was able to just enjoy it,
So what did you say again? 4 or 4.5?
4.5.
4.5. 4.5.
Yeah, same as you.
All right. Very nice. I like that. A 4.5 from me, 3.5 from Jelani, a 4 from Joe, a 3.69 from Fable, a 4 from Steph, and a 4.5 from Brooks. That is a PCP average of 4.03169, dudes. I like that. Like basically a 4 average is really, really fair for this movie. It's got its flaws, but is it worth watching? I definitely think so. So there you go. Y'all, we've done a movie review that did not last longer than the movie. Of course, it was Knightriders. We still would get to have to. We still got an hour to go. I don't know. Anyway, Crew's Choice really starts kicking off next week, though. After Robbie Week, it's Brooks's pick, and Brooks has picked This Is Spinal Tap. Super excited. Have not seen this movie in quite a few years. Any excuse to check that out. I am very, very excited for. Also, check me out to continue Robbie Week's celebration over on Thursday night at Blood Splatter Chatter. We're talking about this movie May from like 2002. It's from Lucky McGee. I've never seen it. I watched it last night. I've got some thoughts. Still got to dissect this weird ass movie, man. So I'll be talking about May on Thursday night. So Jelani, thank you for being here. Final thoughts.
Yeah, man, proud to be here. Happy Robbie Week. You know, all the good stuff. Wish all the things, man. I wish I could see you for Backlash, but things happen. And yeah, good discussion about this movie. Like I watched it like a few days ago, and I've had like my thoughts on it, and they got kind of hazy, but I think I got my point across. Sell out, kids. Sell out. And of course, you know, as selling out goes, me and Brooks do this thing called Go Figure Reviews. We didn't really do a big video this week, but to bring it up from last week, we did a Balrog versus E Honda. This is two of the awesomest figures we've ever reviewed on our channel because of the articulation. They're freaking cool. Check out that video. And of course, we had the 2-pack of Colossus and Kitty Pryde that finishes up our astonishing X-Men wave of figures that we've gotten for years. And we got a fastball special. That's cool as shit because it took me forever to get there, but we got it. We got it. Wolverine can be held in Colossus's hand to be thrown. I think that's cool as shit. Check out that video. I only have pictures of it. I was gonna do a whole video, but it kept falling out. So I was like, boo. So I didn't do it. So check
real quick.
out.
All right,
Just to emphasize Delaney's
Jelani.
point, how cool that Colossus Kitty Pryde figure or the fastball special is. I don't know if you guys tried it back in the day, but those first line of Toy Biz figures, I often tried the fastball special with the Colossus and that Wolverine. It wasn't happening, you know? So the fact that we can do it now,
What are you talking about?
That tickles
you
my
just
soul.
put the little Wolverine on his little arm because he's doing that weightlifting thing.
It didn't look right. It didn't look right. He was deadlifting them. He threw him backwards, bro.
Fastball special.
Use your imagination, Steph. Come on.
Yeah, we had to.
Nah, for real. That's funny. Joe, what about you, man? You finally have a project you can talk about, man. You weren't lying all these months when you said that you were actually working.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Making shit up.
Thank you. But yeah.
He's like, no, I applied last week, guys. Really, I just need my unemployment a little bit longer. Can we just...
But now I have a new graphic novel coming out through Mad Cave Studios. Ruth Roche, The Phantom Hand of Comics. It is the story of Ruth Roche, who is one of the most important women in the golden age of comics that is mostly glossed over. She wrote and edited literally hundreds of comics between, like the early 1940s all the way to about 1956. She basically left the industry after the Wortham trials. She had a very complicated personal life as well. A lot of this stuff is stuff that, I dug up through a lot of research. There is a lot of stuff in here that comic historians do not know. This is going to be an informative book on what had happened, including a primary document that only one other person has seen that, I got to use for this. So it's going to be informative. I got to work with Megan Hetrick, Dee Conniff, and Morgan Martinez are the team on this book. And you can already pre-order it through Mad Cave. Nice. It's also available for pre-order, like Barnes & Noble, Simon & Schuster, Amazon, etc. And will be in Lunar's ordering in July. It will be out digitally October 7th and in paperback and hardcover on October 13th.
Nice.
Heck yeah, dude. Super excited to hear that, man. I cannot wait to dive in because that is a figure in this industry that I know nothing about. So I'm very, very excited for this. And I love comic book industry biographies and history comics, right? Like I love stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like I Am Stan, for instance, or the other ones.
Yeah, I talked with Tom Scioli about this because I read, his Jack Kirby book and, I Am Stan. Like those were definitely, I read a bunch of things, but those two were definitely ones I read as I was writing this book. And thank you so much.
Yeah, and your job as a member of the PCP Army is to go pre-order that wherever you want to. And make sure you support Joe Corallo. Let's also support Fable. Fable, you're back. Tell us about it.
Well, I also wanted to say before I get into that is, as a final thought kind of thing, is one of the things I love about doing this with you guys, besides retreading the classics or watching something completely new, is seeing movies from familiar faces that you've never seen before, and you wonder why they didn't cross over or didn't make it through the passage of time, like a Knightriders, right? Like it's George Romero. It's got a lot of good actors and famous actors in it, but for some reason, it's not Creepshow or some of his other stuff that survived, the test of time. And I always find it interesting deep diving into these kind of movies, like seeing those Sylvester Stallone movies that he was in that you never fucking heard of, or Al Pacino's got a few of them too, man. He's been in some movies.
Like those corn movies. Sylvester Stallone, wasn't he in like corn movies initially?
I just think it's so cool to do that. So that's one of the things I enjoy most. So yeah, I like that. And Friday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern, over on my channel, The Absolute Blame Fable Show. We had our first episode last Friday, and let me tell you, it was a freaking blast. We had such a good time. It feels so good to be back, and we're back at it this Friday, hanging out. Got a bunch of people coming on, where we talk about pop culture news, do a rants and recommendations, and at the end, we show off some cool shit that we got during the week. And it was Free Comic Book Day, so I expect some awesome hauls this Friday. So yeah, come check us out. One collection down.
Heck yeah, man! Everybody, go do that, Steph. What you got coming up? Thank you for being here. Final thoughts.
Of course. By the way, I don't consider Jelani and Robbie. I don't consider what you guys do selling out. It's not going against your code of ethics. I think they entails much deeper things. But this Thursday, Blood Splatter Chatter, May. Very interesting early 2000s slash. I don't even know what you would qualify this
study,
as.
Maybe.
Okay, yeah, psychological horror. But yeah, it's interesting.
Like
Definitely check it out.
Joe, have you seen May before?
I don't think I have.
Anybody else?
If I did, it was when I was watching a ton of stuff at Hollywood Video, because I remember the DVD case and everything. But...
yeah, that's an interesting one, man. Was that it, Steph?
Oh yeah, my bad. Yeah, have to be here though. I was like, are we doing a bit? Are we universally doing a bit right now?
Well, we haven't done the bits in a while, man, have we, man? I remember the old days, man, back in like 6 years ago, 5 years ago, when everybody was just like,
well, Mike was actually
we do it all the damn time.
Well, we all thought we were going to die from some disease.
Yeah.
The good old days.
Good times.
Yeah,
Heck
man.
Yeah. I'm excited I had that conversation about May on Thursday nights, one of my Robbie Week celebrations. And I might be able to pop in for a moment on Friday Fable, but it would just be for a moment. It depends, because there's something going on, but there may be a moment.
Yeah, man, let us wish you a happy birthday for sure, man. Come
we'll try. We'll see what's going on. We'll see what's going on. Rooks, final thoughts. You're always so good at this. So what you got?
I just mentioned Go Figure reviews. Like, I'm there as well. I make very funny remarks and statements. I'm charming and good. So check it out if you want to see that.
I love it.
I mean, if you're into that sort of thing.
He's the
non-sellout of the Go
Well, I
Figure.
don't like selling out to me is like, promoting something that you don't believe in. And if you promote something you do believe in, it's okay. It's not considered selling out.
Oh yeah.
Figure of the night is
You haven't sold out.
One house is awesome,
bro.
Oh, you got it. Nice.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, it kind of fits in with the May the 4th theme as well.
That's dope.
He's
It
like,
does, yo.
That's
fucking
what's
That's
right.
fire.
I love it. He might be my favorite He-Man now. He may have surpassed Glow in the Dark He-Man.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, we'll be doing a video on him, so you can check that out too.
All right. Speaking of checking out, be sure to check us out next week. This is Spinal Tap. If you've never seen it, you really got to. It's great. It will be May the 11th too. That's hilarious. That's so funny. So this is Spinal Tap. You know you want to rewatch it. You know you want to have a great conversation about it. You're going to have that next week here on PCP Movie Night. We're dipping out. My final thoughts are to Camelot. Never mind. Just